I am going to sit then.
Sounds good.
How's this?
Even better, honestly.
Even better.
Hey guys, welcome to the Cross Council Podcast. Welcome to the Cross Council Podcast. We believe negative emotions shouldn't run your life. We invite you to take a deep dive into this challenging transformational journey that goes far beyond this podcast. Join Executive Director and expert facilitator Steve Freitag and me, John Crevillian, as we discuss how to deeply experience the love and truth of Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, we try to get that point across too, that we don't just do the MELT process or transformational prayer for our own sake. It really is for those around us that we love and those who are in our circle and ultimately in the kingdom, right? So I had a couple questions about these kind of weekends. So first question is, how many people or how often does it happen when people say, I've never shared that part of my story with anybody? And the second question is, how many people have a response that's along the lines of, I don't know if I ever took the time to even tell myself that story. Like when I'm actually thinking about it. So, yeah.
100% of the time. I think it's everybody. Like in our weekends we've done, I will lead, a girls small group breakout, and we will discuss these things. And all of them say, oh, I didn't think of it that way before, or I didn't think of my story like this before. And even in some of the prayer sessions I've had, women had, when they've gotten to a point and the memory is revealed, oh, I didn't remember that, or I didn't think of it that way. Exactly what you're saying. It's all the time, the numbers are everybody, that is willing, to participate that way. It's new. It's different.
I don't think we've had anybody shut down, bail, but we have had some that are slower to respond. But certainly all of them have come out of the weekend going, this was much more than I ever imagined, and I want more of it. So that's the beauty of it, is Mary has opportunity to do one-on-one follow-up with those that want to continue to go deeper.
Wow. Yeah. It is interesting to be at a point in our lives where we really are like fathers and mothers, or almost to the point of grandfathers and grandmothers. Yeah. Not you, JC, but you're not quite there yet. But that is the beauty of getting old. Of course, we've got more aches and pains than we'd like to admit, but the payoff is the experience and the hopefully the wisdom that we have, and the fathering or mothering that we can do in the body of Christ. And you see that come alive, right? You take care of the widows and the orphans, but there's also things that they have to offer you as well. And just to respect, I think I have more respect now for people who are older than me than I ever have as well. You just start to see, the more that you live this out, the more you appreciate those who've gone before you. It's been my experience.
As you get closer to it.
Right. On both sides of it.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. We need to be conscious of our bodies, what our bodies are telling us, and also conscious of our breaths, how many more we might have, and enjoy every one of them.
Right. Oh, that's just as a total side note, and I hope people don't turn it off. I was just getting to know this new person today, and what do you have going on this weekend? And he said that, we have a rib contest in our family. And so I actually have come to appreciate ribs and brisket and pork shoulders and whatever. And I made the statement, well, I guess I started smoking about 2-3. I'm like, wait a minute.
He wasn't talking about brisket anymore.
No, I still was, but I could see how that could come across, right? I'm like, oh,
okay.
So anyway,
That's so funny.
it's just such a funny thing. I started.
We're in
smoking.
Texas, you know.
Smoking these days.
That's right. It's legal. Yeah, I think that's always been legal in every state. But anyway, but it's really good stuff, right? It's such an honor to be a part of listening to people's stories and to have them listen to their own story and to know where they fit in with purpose and calling. Like, is there anything better? Oh,
no.
I can't think of anything.
I love it.
We love it. Yeah. And we still offer internships as like consultants, but we're finding that that's still slow right now. And we don't have the resources to do it like we used to. So we're older. We're looking for younger people that want to lead those internship teams. We'll stay in our lane for now, you know.
We recently sat down with a group of people who are fairly new to Cross Council. There was a common theme. While they found some results with traditional approaches, when they fully engaged in the MELT process, there was simply no comparison. What God did in their hearts through the ministry of Cross Council is some of the most profound healing they've ever experienced. Help us share this healing with others. Become a monthly donor. We want to reach as many people with this message of hope as we possibly can. When you support Cross Council, you not only share the load of the ministry costs and the sessions, but you also help us provide content and that message of hope through the various platforms. We're so grateful to be doing this with you. Thanks for listening.
There's another thing about young adults in some of the like Lifeway and Barna research. They're showing that 69% of young adults that leave the church remain gone after they leave. That's a huge percentage. And there's not a lot for young adults that is really making a difference for them. There's youth ministry, and then there's like they're off the cliff and they go and hopefully they find a college ministry. And if they don't find something that's going to help them to navigate that world, they're just going to abandon the entire project. Had enough of that. And a lot of them are angry because of injustice, and they don't know how to deal with injustice. And they get angry that many conservative so-called Christians don't know how to deal with injustice. And so you get this reactionary kind of relationship going on, and the young people just say, I'm out. I'm not going to do that. So this is some ways also a way to address that for churches that say, what about our young adults? And how can we help them navigate a totally different world, one that we didn't grow up in, and we're not sure how to do it? So we're hoping that this will be a useful resource for them too.
I have one other question. Go ahead, Mary.
I was going to say we were having a little bit of a conversation with a friend that we haven't seen in a long while over lunch just today about that very issue. And he teaches one day a week to homeschool high schoolers. And so many, we're talking about how they lose their faith in college. And they said they just don't know why they believe what they believe. They're taught it by their parents, by their Christian teachers. Okay, but why? And I think a lot of this type information brings the why,
That's good.
Yeah.
So
I
I
have
have
another question.
I have one more question. Well, I have two, but because the first one is just, is there anything else you want to share about your lives or your ministry? And then I have a question after that.
We did a lot of reading, and the way we read is when we find a really good book, we want to process this with others. So we start a book group and we host people in our home. Typically we get 10 or 12 that just meet with us for a meal, and we process what we learn in a book. And we've read Kurt Thompson's Soul of Shame, and the book called Joy Starts Here, and the book called The Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self, and then John Bevere's recent book, The Awe of God. And all of those put together really had something to do with our own journey in this process to come to the place where we, and much of this was before and during and after COVID. So it's all during the same season, and it all coalesced, especially when we were reading about the fear of the Lord, because I wasn't walking in the fear of the Lord in the way that I thought I should.
Hmm.
I didn't realize it, but I was much too relaxed about who God is. And the fear of the Lord draws you closer to him, but it's with awe. It's not, it's so if you don't have sufficient fear of the Lord, you're going to slip down one side of the narrow road. One side is legalism and the other side is lawlessness. And we're seeing the lawlessness. There's rainbow flags on a lot of altars in the churches in America. But the legalism is also the reaction where they go, I just won't have anything to do with those people. And that's not Jesus. And so how do we walk in this? And I was realizing I was scared and frustrated and overworked and giving myself permission to live in sin in my mind, in my heart, in my body. I was not walking in the fear of the Lord. I needed a revival, and this is part of that revival, is just working through this project.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I still have two more questions now that I think about it. And the one is just a wrap up question, but totally taking a left turn here because we're kind of running out of time. You have a daughter getting married.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know if you want to share anything about that, but and you can share anything you want about that. But my question directly is, are you going to be saying anything, either one of you, at the wedding or at the rehearsal dinner that you want to communicate to your daughter and her future husband in those moments?
Well,
she knows what she wants me to say.
I know what I want him to say. Yeah, she gets married on June 15th. We're really excited for her, and we really like her husband to be. But see, your interaction for that, you should tell that story. But yeah, and I know we've been trying to figure out, do we say a little quote unquote speech or at the wedding? Do we do it at the rehearsal dinner? We're trying to save time because, you're only given so many hours at these venues that cost you so much money, and just trying to figure it all out. And here we are within 3 weeks of this wedding, and I don't think it's completely nailed down yet. But go ahead.
The bottom line is that when we adopted Becca from China, for those that don't know, we adopted our daughter from China. And when we did, we raised our hand and swore to the Chinese government we would never abandon her, as is required when you do an adoption. And I shared with Mary that I said, I'm making a vow that I will walk this little girl down the aisle one day. Now, there's a lot of uncertainty in an adoption. Emotional bonding doesn't happen the same way it does with natural birth. There's a fear, and a child that's been rejected since birth and reinforces the spirit of rejection by doing things that make you want to reject them. Yeah. And you have to work through all that. And we have, and by the grace of God, we're ready to walk her down the aisle. I am. And that is a big triumph and a celebration. So that's our piece.
And that's the little story we thought somehow we would like to incorporate into our little speech.
Wow. That's fantastic. Wow. Yeah, I was able to do the wedding for one of our sons, and that's a little bit intimidating, but the way that it came together, it was such a beautiful event, and wouldn't change anything. except maybe the
Cool.
bill at the end. I would take a 0 or 2 off the end of it. But
I agree.
and yeah, I better stop there before I say too much. But so you guys have been in ministry for how long with YWAM?
Since 85. So we're coming up on our 40th year.
That's what I thought, right? And so we just want to give our listeners an opportunity to bless you guys. So if they wanted to bless you financially, prayerfully, what would they do?
Oh my gosh. Well, we have a website. It's called YWAM Converge. That's YWAM Converge, CONVERGE. And I'm going to need to tell you what converge means real fast.
Yeah.
But YWAMconverge.org is where you go to the website, hit give. And when you give, you can select our names.
Great. Yeah.
Nice.
And if you want to know more about the weekend, Steve will send you our email.
Yeah, please. Yeah, reach out to us. And I'm just so excited to see what's going to continue to happen in that. It's a beautiful vision and how it's being executed. It just is. Yeah, the Holy Spirit seems to be certainly moving in that. So I really do like the Henry Blackaby perspective. It's don't spend a whole lot of time wondering what God's will is. Look at where he's moving and ride that wave. And if that's a wave of God, then why wouldn't you want to in some way be a part of it? So very cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys.
I enjoyed every minute of it. I think you did too, right?
Yeah,
Mary?
had a great time.
You wouldn't know that for sure about an hour and a half ago.
Sorry, did I just blank, or were you able to explain Converge more?
Real quick, I said something about DNA, and it's a double helix. DNA has these strands that come together, and our identity is made in his image. And I use 2 Peter chapter 1, where it says, add to your faith virtue, knowledge, self-control, perseverance, godliness, brotherly kindness, and love. And each of these are basically part of God's identity that he wants us to be weaved into. And it's work, but in doing so, that's a convergence, a bringing together of our identity with his, and so that we can, as we look into that perfect mirror, we can begin to reflect who he is. So and really convergence has a lot of coming together. It's short-term with long-term. It's academic with spiritual. It's practical with theoretical. It's bringing together a lot of things. So I love the word converge.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Very cool.
Good. It's also good for me to know that I didn't fall asleep. That hadn't come out yet. Like, you worry about that when you get up in years. Did I go in whatever mode? Yeah, sleep mode. Right, exactly.
We're good. Steve, we enjoy being with you. It's good to meet you. John, thanks for this privilege of speaking and being a part of your podcast.
Yeah, not a problem, guys. We loved having you. Please come again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will do.
Wonderful. Awesome. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
This has been the Cross Council Podcast. Please remember to subscribe, rate, share with your friends, and look for us on social media. The world will become a much better place, and Jesus will be seen in a much better light the more we are transformed by his truth and love. We'll see you next time, everybody.